school and earned his education certification. He worked at other jobs for the next 6 years, and then he realized perhaps it was time to get serious. So he went to work as a building sub, and fortunately, he was available when they needed him most. And he stepped into our math science department teaching pre-calc, physics, and chemistry. He approaches his classes with energy, and his passion for learning is contagious. He mixes humor with his message, and he's always looking for a better way to get that message across. It's with great pleasure that I introduce math science instructor Lars Hansen.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, parents, administrators, fellow teachers, observers, and especially hello to the graduating class of 2010. Some of you in the audience know me. I'm Lars Hansen, a teacher of math and science at Hutchison High, and I've had a bunch of you seniors in my classes, various classes over the last 2 years. Let me pose the following question to you. Proto-graduates, at what point in your high school careers did you realize that you'd finally get to be here at your own graduation? I can tell you that from my experiences, a few short years can change your life tremendously. A few years ago when I was recruited to be a building sub at Hutch, I had absolutely no idea that my path through the school would eventually keep me right here tonight. If my present self were to travel back in time and visit my former self and say, former self, in 2 years we can give you the commencement speech for the graduating class of 2010, my former self would have said, yeah, right, get out of here. I consider this moment right now to be the highlight of my educational career. I've had a lot of uplifting moments during my short time as a teacher, but this one is definitely the most significant. Seniors, thank you for the great honor that you bestowed upon me. You put a lot of trust in this, you put a lot of trust in me to give you this speech. And by the way, don't worry, this shouldn't drag on too long, as some of the pre-calculus or physics lectures that I've subjected you to. Look, it's only 3 pages, and you guys don't have to write it down. So where on earth should I begin? What message am I going to convey to you that you might be a little bit more prepared for life after high school? What do I wish someone had told me when I graduated? Many things, perhaps. How about this one? Do not jump on a trampoline with a bowling ball. It might lead to the loss of 4 front teeth. That really happened to me. As a sophomore in college, that really happened to me. And if someone had told me that in my high school graduation, it might save me a lot in terms of the I don't know. But there are a lot of powerful messages I've heard during my life, and it's hard to narrow them down to one that fits this auspicious occasion. So, upon thinking about it, I've decided that my words of advice to you will be simply this: expect and be prepared to accept changes. This is a pretty broad thesis. I know, don't hit me, Mr. Murphy. But when you stop and think of overused aphorisms, one that comes to mind is, the only constant in life is change. I like this partly because it is a bit of a verbal paradox, but also because it serves as a gentle warning that I believe to be true. Certainly, our modern world is transforming rapidly. From social and political institutions to technological advancements to ecological, energetic, and economic realities, the list goes on. Every day brings reports of changes occurring. Some are rapid and some are more gradual, but over time, all these things that we're familiar with will be altered in some way from how it is today. And these are all big picture changes, over which you don't have much influence. You can make choices in how you treat others and how you live your lives, but overall, these global caliber problems are beyond your control and will occur regardless of your input. I would advise you to stay aware of current events, get involved where you feel that you can help, and try not to become frustrated when you see that the world is heading in a direction that you don't really want it to go. It will happen. Where you do have some control is how you address address the challenges that befall you in your personal lives. Whether they are large or small, good or bad, if you can deal with them positively, you'll be way better off. Whenever you can, make the best of your situation. Granted, it's much easier said than done. Another well-used aphorism goes like this: when wife and sweet lemons make lemonade. Again, it is much easier said than done. However, it is satisfying to look behind you in the rearview mirror of life and see the remnants of obstacles that you have overcome. I began my adult life just like you guys are today, on the verge of the next step. After graduating from high school, I had a decent plan. I was interested in chemistry and intended on getting my bachelor's in science at UAF and then pursuing a career in that field. So I started as a freshman in the fall of '92, and I enjoyed the social and educational aspects of college life for the first few years. Where hurdles appeared was a couple of years later. As the chemistry classes got more and more difficult and more detailed, and you guys know there's a lot of detail in chemistry, I realized that my interest in chemistry was diminishing. Any of you who have recently had chemistry, including you parents that might have had it a longer time ago, remember how hard that subject could get. So, at this point in school, I was far enough along to finish my degree, but I had no real interest in pursuing a career in chemistry afterwards. My experience at UAF taught me a lot about chemistry, which was good, but equally important, it made me recognize that I did not want to be a chemist. So, that's okay. But this did not mean that I did nothing. I did not retire at 22. I have always believed strongly in the value of hard work. And so after college, I worked for the next dozen years or so in a wide variety of occupations. At the end of these 12 years, I actually made business cards. And here is what they advertised for my experience. A whole bunch of things. Geophysical exploration painter, airline baggage handler, boom burner, welder, mining exploration camp facilitator, plumber, skateboarder, chemistry lab analyst, master's worker, sheetrocker, electrician, and now finally, I'm proud to say, teacher. But with each job, I had to integrate with a new group of coworkers and clients, and had to learn how to do the job well. By the way, I consider you guys clients for this new gig. During those 12 years, between graduating from UAF and starting here at Hutch, I also spent periods of time traveling to different places in the world. Some of those I went to were Australia, New Zealand, Chile, Russia, Greece, Tanzania. And at each location, I had to adapt to a new environment and cultures as I encountered them. I urge each and every one of you guys to spend some time traveling outside the borders of the U.S. if you possibly can. The perspective you'll gain by experiencing different countries where English might not be the principal language will develop your ability to cope with new situations in your lives. Every time I returned from abroad, I was reminded just how fortunate we are to have the ability to choose our own paths in life here. So now, I want you all to think for a moment. When I ask this question of you, what are you going to do after high school? What is your plan?